Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Here are some Tuesday headlines ahead of tonight's show. 22-year-old Bryson DeChambeau, just a few days removed from earning low amateur honors at the Masters. He's announced he has turned pro. You'll hear from him coming up. Also on the microphone, the newly named captains of the 2017 President's Cup. Steve Stricker for the United States. Nick Price, he's hoping third time will be the charm for him leading the international side. And what absolutely has to be the feel-good story of the day. 42-year-old Jason Bone is making his return to competitive golf this week at Harbor Town, just 7 weeks after suffering a very scary heart attack. Next week for Jason, or this week rather, he's marking his golf ball with a heart. Pretty special for him. That is where we begin tonight's show. Great to have you with us. I'm Lisa Cornwell. In late February, shortly after making the cut in the Honda Classic, Bone was rushed to the hospital because of chest pains. Thankfully, he is okay now and ready to get back to work. For much more on this story, here's Scott Walker with Jason Bone.
Thank you. Here with Jason Bone. A heart attack on February 26th, and you are back here in Hilton Head. Walk me through the process. What did you go through to get yourself back to this position?
After they put the stent in, I waited basically about a week where I didn't really do much of anything, and then started right up on cardio rehab. And I mean, we put an EKG on 3 times a week. I'd go to the hospital, we'd start working out, we'd watch my heart rate, they'd gradually spike it up a little bit more and then watch it lower and spike it up. And I did that 3 days a week and had a lot of success. Just last week, I got some great information that said my heart's completely back to normal. I have very little damage that was done to it. My heart looks great when I'm exercising. I'm very excited to be back this quick, but to be honest, I'm just excited to be here.
How close a call was this?
From what I understand, it was just, I was just a walking time bomb. I could have gone down at any moment, and had I gone back, maybe laid down. One of those situations that you hear a lot of, guys just saying, I don't feel real well. They go sit down on the couch and they don't wake up. So I think my cardiologist told me that was kind of the position I was in. So I was very fortunate to have the care that I had and the access that the tour provided me once I asked for some medical attention. I mean, it was very quick, and I was taken care of.
What are your expectations on the golf course this week?
My expectations are life. Golf is my job. For me, it was more about a life perspective. You know, I wanted to get back out here with my friends. I wanted to see that I could strike the golf ball again. You don't really forget yet. Maybe you're not as sharp as what you are, but I mean, I'm just really excited. I'm excited to see how I do under competition, just kind of see the stress of, you know, what kind of stress I can put on my heart. And to be honest, I'm just going to enjoy the smells and the flowers and everything in the walk, to be honest.
Well, congratulations on being here. Good luck this week.
Thanks. I appreciate it very much.
So great to see him back out there. Bone will get to enjoy the early late rotation in the first 2 rounds of the RBC Heritage. He goes off number 1 at 8:20 Eastern Time, playing alongside Chad Campbell and Jamie Lovemark. As for a feature group to watch in the afternoon wave on Thursday, how about world number 1 Jason Day, Brant Snedeker, and Bill Haas? This trio goes off at 12:50. You'll hear from Jason Day in Wednesday night's show. Switching gears just a bit to a big announcement that was made earlier today involving the 2017 President's Cup captains. Steve Stricker will lead the U.S. side, while Nick Price is back for a 3rd time with the Internationals. Last year's edition was one of the most thrilling we've seen in quite some time. For the first time in Cup history, the outcome was actually decided by the final match, but still an American victory it was, making it 6 straight for Team USA. How about a little bit more about the captains? 10 years separate these men. And while Price has 6 more PGA Tour titles, it's Stricker who has the better President's Cup record as a player. George Savaricas caught up with both captains on a ferry ride from Liberty National to Manhattan.
Joined by the 2 President's Cup captains, Steve Stricker for the U.S. and Nick Price for the international team. A very unique backdrop that we have for the 12th matches coming up. First off, for you, Steve, it's your first time as captain. What does it mean to you to be in this role?
Yeah, it's pretty humbling, really. To be the leader of the U.S. team is exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've been a part of a number of teams and been assistant captain the last couple of years, and So I'm excited to take on this new role and go up against this guy, a friend of mine, and somebody that we've played against over the years. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nick, this is old hat for you now. This is your third go as,
I wouldn't say that. No.
as captain. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned from your previous 2 stints as captain for the international team?
I think try not to over-captain. You know, golf's a pretty simple game. You know, I keep telling the guys, hit the ball in the fairway, hit it on the green, don't give holes away. I think that's pretty much what makes a successful team. You know,
hang on,
look
Nick.
at that. Look, he's
already have some teamwork here. Bridging the divide.
We just hit the Staten Island Ferry wake here. No, but it's you know, it's just one of those things. It's a very, very fine line, and I don't know. It's very hard to put into. You probably write books about being a captain or leading a team, whether you're a coach or manager, whatever it may be. But to be honest, the camaraderie and the morale and just the absolute fun that being with the guys, and you know, me being at you know, the end of my career, obviously, to be involved with all these youngsters again and watch them play golf the way they do, it's something very special.
And finally, Nick, if you guys had won in career, it was a very close match, would you have returned for a 3rd time as captain, or do you feel there's some unfinished business?
If I'd been asked, definitely I would have. You know, Adam Scott and a couple of guys stood up at our dinner on Sunday night and spoke, and really reached out and touched my wife and I and my family, because I think sometimes, you know, people don't understand how much work goes into it and how much thought you do. But Adam said some incredibly nice things about me and my family, and the fact that they wanted us to do it again. So, you know, in a heartbeat, I'd do it again.
And last question, what motivational manner are you guys going to use in your team room?
I'll let you go that one.
You know, for the people who know who I am and what I'm all about, I don't say a lot. You know, I kind of lead and have led by example. You know, I get pretty emotional, and but I'll rely on my assistant captains a lot, I guess, and I'll try to be a guy in the corner for my players and be a good cheerleader, and hopefully listen to them and make good pairings and give them the plan, you know, what's going forward and what to expect from me, and I think if everybody's on the same plan and the same idea, you know, that's going to lead to some good things. So that's about it, probably.
Well, you know, last year, and it was the first time that we actually had a full team that there wasn't one player on that team that had ever experienced the President's Cup win, because Ernie was the last one in 2013. So it's very hard to explain to these guys, you know, the jubilation and the excitement that you feel in amongst a team room when you win. Last year we got very close and we got a taste of it. So I'm going to be working on that a little bit.
All right, guys. Yeah. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
George.
the time.
Thanks,
Great to see it. Looking forward to the 12th matches of the President's Cup at Liberty National. Let's go back to the studio.
Thanks, George. We're all looking forward to that one. Such a great venue, too. PGA Tour winner Brian Bateman joining the conversation. Let's talk about these men, starting with Steve Stricker. He has some experience as an assistant captain both in the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. How much pressure, though, will be on him, considering that the U.S. side has won 6 straight? Now he's trying to make it 7.
Well, he's got tons of international experience. He's been actually a captain or an assistant captain for the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup every year since 2007. So there's going to be some pressure on Steve Stricker. The United States has won it the last 6 President's Cups. So the players want to play well for him. He's a likable guy, one of the most popular guys on the PGA Tour. These players are not going to let Steve Stricker down. Another likable guy is this man right here, Nick Price. Pressure on him as well, because this is his 3rd straight time trying to go after this title. He wasn't able to do it the first 2 times around. So what will Nick Price, how will he feel going into this? And I wonder if he's going to mix things up a little bit. You would think so. He would probably learn from the last 2 experiences. Although the last one was close. It was, and what a great ambassador for the international team and for the President's Cup. He's been one of the biggest proponents of this event. I do think that, you know, it was so close last year. It was so close. Came down to the last match. If you remember, Bill Haas and Sang Moon Bae came down to the very last hole, and Bill Haas clinched the cup for the American team. They were that close, the international team was, from winning. And Nick's just going to have to rally his troops, maybe make some changes, maybe, you know, change up some pairings that he's been comfortable with in years past that has not worked, and try to stop the bleeding, because it's been a tough run for the international team. 9-1-1 for the Americans.
But it has to give at least their side a little bit more confidence, being able to compete the way that they did the last go-around. What do you think that they'll take from that and apply it to 2017 at Liberty?
I think it gives them some confidence. You know, there's going to be some new players on both squads this coming year. It's going to be interesting to see with the new players if they inject some new energy into the international team and try to break this string of the American dominance in the President's Cup.
I love team golf. I love match play. Give me more of it. This fall, thanks, Brian. This fall, it's the Ryder Cup's turn. Here is a look at the latest standings for the U.S. side. Jordan Spieth, well, he has, as you would expect, a commanding lead in the top spot, while a tie for fourth in the Masters moved J.B. Holmes up to eighth. Remember, the top 8 following the Barclays automatically qualify. On the European side, Masters champion Danny Willett has all but locked up a spot. He leads a list of 5 rookies who are currently qualified. The top 4 on the European points list and the top 5 remaining players in the world points list on August 28th will automatically make the team. Wednesday on Golf Channel, you will hear from 2016 U.S. Ryder Cup captain Davis Love III. With 5 months to go before the teams are final, here are his thoughts in the aftermath of the first major of the year. It's a live Golf Central special Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Still to come, Bryson DeChambeau makes his decision. He's turning pro. You'll hear from one of the most accomplished amateurs the last decade. Plus, what will change most for Danny Willett now that he's a major champion? We have those questions. John Feinstein, he has the answers. It's all ahead. You're watching Golf Central.